Hello, welcome from or back to my channel. My name is Jaden and I make commentary videos on culture, media, and kind of whatever's going on in the world. And today we're going to talk about media training and Chappell Roan. Is it Roan or Rowan? I think it's Roan. Anyways, if you've been on the internet, which obviously you have because you were watching this video, you've probably heard a lot of talk about media training and Chappell Roan. And I just kind of wanted to dig into this and see what was going on because from what I've read, a lot of people seem to be 50-50 on the situation with Chappell Roan. Some people love that she doesn't have media training and that she's just authentic and speaks her mind, whereas others think that it is terrible representation of, you know, musicians in general. So let's take a look into it. First off, what is media training? Media training is like a specialized form of coaching that prepares individuals, executives, musicians, pretty much anyone with like a public job or where they have to like present themselves in a more organized manner so that way they're able to handle difficult conversations, avoid certain topics, and talk their way out of specific scenarios. So pretty much it helps people stay composed and have control of the conversation, opposed to it drifting off into a territory where they might not be the ones in control, and then stuff they don't want to say will get exposed, or stuff that might make them look bad will come out, and then it just starts drama and it gets messy. So Chappell Roan, she became a topic of discussion recently because of her lack of media training, and examples of this are like when she was on the red carpet and she started cussing out one of the, I don't know what they are, the paparazzi, the videographer, someone. She was cussing someone out on the red carpet as an example. Another example is on her TikTok account where she was stating her political opinions and why she's not endorsing specific parties. I'm not American, so I'm not like fully in the know of political stuff, but she was essentially saying that she doesn't have a set person that she would ideally want to vote for, and that her opinion is that everyone sucks. And I kind of understand what she was saying because like in politics, no one really is good, to be honest. You kind of choose whoever sucks the least, and that's kind of where she was coming from, where she was just talking about it. But it's the way she phrased it that a lot of people were like, okay, so is she a Trump supporter? Does she like Kamala Harris? Like, what's she talking about? Is she gonna vote? Is she not gonna vote? How is she supposed to help if she's not gonna vote? That kind of situation. I'll roll the clip here.
Endorsing and voting are completely different. I don't agree with a lot of what is going on with like policies. Like, obviously, fuck the policies of the right, but also fuck some of the policies on the left. That's why I can't endorse. That's why I can't like put my entire name and my entire project behind one. Because there is no way I can stand behind some of the left's completely transphobic and completely genocidal views. So yeah,
that's kind of what people are talking about, and it kind of split people because some people don't understand where she's coming from, some people do, and it's just kind of like a big mix of like, oh my gosh. So what I want to do is kind of explain more in depth like what media training is, why it's good, and then explain why it's bad, and then kind of tie this all into the Chappell conversation and share what my thoughts are at the end. So let's start with what media training is. So some key reasons why media training is important is because it helps control the narrative. So what do I mean by that? Essentially, it's to protect yourself and your brand or whatever you're speaking on behalf of, and being the one in control of that conversation. So say like you have like this company and there's like kind of like some like company secrets that you don't want to spill, or like if a celebrity's dating someone and they don't want to like come out and say like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm dating like Timothy Chalamet as an example. It's that way they have control of that narrative and they can change that topic if it comes into the territory that they're not comfortable in. Another one is that it helps enhance communication skills. So if you're doing press, it's pretty important that you are able to keep a conversation going and you're kind of prepared and know like what to expect. And that way you know like how you're going to respond to specific conversations, and then that kind of leads back into taking over the narrative because now you're the one in control because you already know what you're going to say. It also helps with boosting confidence because people feel more prepared. They don't have to stress about certain scenarios. They just overall feel more confident and helps them more in the like natural conversation start flowing. The last key point of media training is crisis management. So that way if celebrities or anyone in the media has a situation that is not the greatest, like maybe they're in some kind of a scandal, it helps prevent that from happening, and they and their team can like come up with ideas and strategies on how to change the narrative. Cough cough JoJo Siwa, if you've kept up with the drama, we all know what's happened with JoJo Siwa and how she had like this girl group, and then people like from that group came out and made statements about how she was being horrible to them and not treating children properly, similar to how Abby Lee Miller was treating people. But then she decides to do her rebrand and be her edgy girl persona. That way, that's changing the narrative. That's crisis management. She's doing that so people don't see that story, and something different will have people talking about that, and then she can just get off scot-free. But I have my eyes on you, JoJo Siwa. I don't support what you did to those children. Okay, now some reasons why media training isn't always the best. It can ruin natural communication. If someone is just like, they know exactly what they're going to talk about, then there's not going to be like a natural flow of a conversation. So like, it goes on to point two where they can come off robotic. Like, if they just have everything planned out, they have a script in their head, to like the very exact words they're going to say and how they're going to take over a conversation, it won't seem natural and fluid. The conversation will just be really dry and like static, if that makes sense. It's just very stiff and not engaging at all. So the next one would be casual conversations or contexts. Yeah, casual contexts. So casual context is just kind of like casually post on social media about like your day, where it's like, oh my gosh, I got coffee. But instead, people might stress too much about it and be like, oh my gosh, like, what if this is a coffee shop everyone hates, and then I'm gonna get blacklisted for drinking coffee at this coffee shop because no one else likes it. And then they just kind of stress about the most mundane things ever, and it prevents them from just sharing anything they want on social media or in person. Another issue is budget constraints. Media training is not cheap, okay? Like, it is expensive. So if you're like an up-and-coming celebrity, you might not be super successful, so you might have not gotten the media training that so many like higher class A-list celebrities have had. So like Chappell Roan is an example, she just blew up all of a sudden, and she wasn't expecting it, and like people can just get famous in like an instant without expecting it, without being prepared. Which I think is the case with her, because like she was just a normal girl, just doing music, having fun, and then all of a sudden TikTok gets a hold of her music, and then everyone's like, oh my gosh, Chappell Roan! And then it becomes overwhelming, and now she's just kind of like in a weird limbo. So that's kind of the pros and the cons of media training. Now let's focus on our girl Chappell. So the thing is, she doesn't have media training, which I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that she did confirm that yes, she does not have media training, and I don't think she was interested in even looking forward, like looking into actually pursuing like with media training and getting all that. And like even like if you hear like stories from like Disney Channel actors and stuff, they're like, oh my gosh, media training was like intense stuff, right? Like she doesn't want to do that. She's a busy girl. And like the thing is like, she's authentic, okay? And like that's why a lot of people like the fact that she doesn't have media training, because she's authentic. But then there's people who want like fake authentic. And what is fake authentic? It's just kind of being like relatable, like when people are really obsessed with, what was her name, Jennifer Lawrence, and how she was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I like pizza. It's just like something simple where it's like, oh haha, she's so funny and authentic, like she's not taking it too seriously. But when a celebrity is authentic about their actual like thoughts, beliefs, and like Chappell Roan with all her stress, and like she's been so open about her mental health and people aren't respecting it, which like, what the heck? Stop doing that. Respect her. It's important. And like if you want her to produce music and to keep doing what she loves, stop harassing her and let her heal, okay? Like, the girl has pressure on her. Anyways, people want like the fake authenticity, where it's just kind of like the, so relatable, oh my gosh, she like tripped, so awkward and funny, but like me. But Chappell Roan isn't fake authentic. She's like true authentic, where it's like she's not afraid to speak up. She's a strong woman. She's gonna call people out. She's not afraid of that. She's gonna stand up for herself and tell people when to leave her alone, because honestly, it's kind of freaky how celebrities are treated and like put on this pedestal where people are literally stalking them. And like, remember Doja Cat when she was calling people out and everyone was mad at her? I was on Doja's side. Like, you don't know these people. Don't stalk them. Don't touch them. Like, how would you feel like some random person went up to you and just started hugging you and taking photos of you? Like, no, that's just weird. Like, yeah, no. So, yeah. People are 50-50 on their opinions on Chappell Roan and her lack of media training. And it's confusing because, like, everyone claims they want to see authenticity, but then when they actually see someone who is authentic, they just completely do a 180 on them, and they're like, well, I don't like that. And it's like, okay. But at the end of the day, it's like you like their music or whatever art they're creating. You don't have to like them as a person if their beliefs don't align with yours, or if they call people out and you don't like that. That doesn't affect their actual art, you know? Like, I don't know, it's just silly. But yeah, pretty much media training, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have media training. And it's also like, even if you do get media training, it doesn't mean you're gonna like stick to it, right? Like, we saw the drama with what's the Gossip Girl's name? Blake Lively. We saw Blake Lively and how some of those interviews with her came out, and she was not following the media training thing, and people were mad about that because she was being rude.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
There's a difference between just being straight up rude and standing up for yourself. Chappell Roan has been standing up for herself. Blake Lively was just being rude and inconsiderate and mean. That's the difference. Your personality is going to show through whether you have media training or not. And media training just kind of helps you avoid certain conversations that your brand or image doesn't want you to portray. But at the end of the day, your real personality is going to come out eventually, and then the people will decide whether or not they like you. And yeah, pretty much, I think media training is fine. I do kind of like that Chappell Roan doesn't have media training, because I do like seeing a strong, independent woman just speaking her mind and telling people when to go away. But yeah, that's my opinion. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments down below. This video was kind of short. I've just been busy with life, so yeah. Anyways, be sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing other people's thoughts and opinions on certain situations. And if there's any other topics you want me to cover, let me know, because I like yapping about stuff. And I'll see you in my next video.